Hi everyone, my name's Sarah Kelly, and today I'm going to tell you about the instructional unit that I developed for Forest as Classroom. And the name of this unit is called The Human Place in Nature, Understanding the Past and Imagining a Better Future. This has been developed hypothetically, kind of, but it would be great if something like this could actually come to fruition. So, my graduate research is focused on the Discovery Trail at the H.J. Andrews Forest. It's a long term ecological research site. And there's a lot of old growth there, different species. There's also meadows. So, it's a really great site to teach students about the forest and even to ponder their own place within nature. So my research, since I'm in the Environmental Arts and Humanities program, focuses on worldviews and values, and I really tried to incorporate that into the curriculum that I developed. So I was asked to do two different subjects. So I chose language arts and social studies, and and I'll say so. This in this hypothetical situation, this program is for juniors and seniors in high school who are interested in going into the environmental field, either for a job right out of high school and go to community college and do something more technical, or maybe going on to get a degree or even advanced degrees, and really thinking about the interconnections between social systems and ecological systems. That's where my research is. So this instructional unit includes 4 activities, and I imagine that in addition to the activities, the students participating in the program would also get to hear from professionals working in the field, and they would have some team building exercises and some culminating experiences at the end, which I'll talk about. So to get to the heart of it, I chose language arts as one subject, and the first 2 activities are within the language arts subject. So the first activity is called Reflecting on the Human Place in Nature, and this is a journaling exercise. So once students arrive at the Andrews Forest, they'll get a little orientation, they'll get settled into their campsites or their cabins, and then they'll go to the Discovery Trail, and they'll get a brief introduction and go over the prompts, and then they'll be handed the prompts, and we'll find a place on the Discovery Trail to write for about 30 minutes. And one of the prompts, it kind of plays more into their own experiences and thinking about their own values, what they like about the forest, how they feel in the forest. And then the second activity is more observational, thinking about what do you see in front of you, but also thinking about, again, like, what is the human place in nature? How do you imagine yourself in this place? And then after the writing activity, they would discuss these personal understandings of human nature relationships with their fellow students. So the learning outcomes for this activity is to describe your knowledge of the human nature relationship based on personal experience and self-reflection. And the second learning outcome is discuss personal understandings of human nature relationships with fellow students. So the second activity, there will be kind of a break in between the two, and then the students will move to a different site. They can either do this inside or outside, and it's really playing off of the idea of bioregionalism, which says that we should live in place, and not only should we live in place, but we should be ecologically literate. We should know things about the native plants in our region, about moon cycles, about the birds native to our regions, things like that. And so it'll start with a quiz that students will try to answer as much as they can. And then whatever they can't answer, they'll work with their fellow students to, they'll partner up and meet each individual student. So it's a nice team building experience as well. And they'll try to find answers to the things that they don't know. Now, it's very likely that no one will get all of them right, because some of them are pretty hard and it's just not things that we know anymore. Like, when is the next full moon, or name 5 migrating bird species in your bioregion, or explain exactly how the water gets to your tap. So those are some of the questions included on the quiz. After that, after they they contrast this knowledge with their classmates, they're going to demonstrate their knowledge of one bioregional topic in groups by we'll have some pre-developed research materials for the hardest questions that most people get wrong on the quiz, and they'll have to learn about that topic and then craft a 5-minute presentation, and everyone will split into small groups of 7, and so it'll be the 7 hardest questions. So each group will have a different topic. And then finally, they'll reflect on, they'll do a journaling, because remember this is language arts, and they'll reflect on why they think humans might have less knowledge of the land, particularly in the places that they live, than they used to. And those are all correlated directly with the learning objectives. So the activities, all of my activities directly include the assessment of evidence and the learning objectives. So moving on to social studies, they'll learn about Native American lifeways and through storytelling and a camas harvest and bake. And so it'll start with the program leader, and they'll move to a new site for this as well, where there will be actual camas there. So it'll be a meadow area that also has forests surrounding it. And the students will learn about some land use practices that Native peoples used, and particularly in the Willamette Valley and the areas surrounding the Andrews Forest, there were a lot of wet and dry prairies, and those were managed by using fire. So they'll learn about some of these things. They'll also learn about values and worldviews of Native peoples and the settlers and explorers who came in the mid 1800s. And then they'll contrast the different lifeways between them. And they will also demonstrate some traditional harvesting and cooking methods. So what my hope would be is that there would be a program leader in this experience, or a Native American storyteller and educator who can help the students harvest the camas and then cook it in an actual earth oven. And then at the end, they will also do a write-up, and they'll contrast the lifeways and the land use practices of Native peoples, settlers, and modern Americans. So things that they do in their regular life that are different than the land use practices and the beliefs of the settlers and the Native Americans. And then finally, the last activity is a video called The Story of Stuff. Some of you may have seen it before. And the students will be watching the Story of Stuff video, which is about a 20-minute video, and it explains the materials economy and how wasteful it is, and that what we're doing is extracting resources, and some powerful countries, when they run out of resources, end up exporting their pollution and their extractive practices to other countries who have less power and less money. And learning about perceived and planned obsolescence, and so things that are being designed to actually be thrown away. And so those are some of the main points that come up in the Story of Stuff. So the one learning objective for that is to recall the main issues of consumerism and modern production cycles. And they'll do this recall. The assessment is a quiz. It'll be I believe it's 10 questions that will test their knowledge. And so after the video, they'll do a quick discussion with everyone and kind of a recap, and then they'll do the quiz. And then after the quiz, they're going to get into a circle and do a kind of comedy improv technique. And it's called a yes and. So you start with one idea, and then the next person says yes and they add on to it, and they create a story by doing that. And what this is going to be doing plays into these 3 ways that we can respond to environmental and social crises. And that is business as usual, the great unraveling, and the great turning. And so their mission is to imagine this new future that's less wasteful, where more people are living in a healthy way and caring for each other. And they're going to envision this great turning and think about how we can better have better human environment relationships. And that is the last part of the activity. And I'm at 10 minutes now. That went by very quickly. So thank you for listening. I'm going to include a schematic of the activities, and I look forward to hearing what you think about the lesson. Thanks.